Hello, everyone. I'd like to start with a mantra. So you can cross your legs, being seated cross legged. At least have the right ankle on top of the left ankle. You can cross your ankles together. And have your hands in Brahma Mudra. So the left hand on the lap, on your lap, and the right hand on top of the left hand. You can close your eyes while I chant along. Asato ma sangamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrityorma amrita Shanti Shanti Shanti. So, welcome everyone. For those of you who don't know me, I will introduce myself briefly. I'm Claire. I'm a Yoga Nidra teacher and a counselor in Ayurveda. Ayurveda is the traditional medicine system from India, and that means science of living or the art of living. And it works with many things, but one aspect of it is that it works with the five elements: earth, water, fire, air, and also space, which is also called ether or akash in Sanskrit. And using these five elements, it allows us to come to find balance. And I'm also passionate about the moon and about Jyotish. Jyotish is the Vedic astrology, and it actually means the science of light. And it's also called the eye of the Vedas because it can see everything, the past, the present, the future. And in Jyotish, you have several aspects, several particularities compared to tropical astrology. One of them is that the moon is the most important because it represents the mind and the emotions and the inner self. It also works with the zodiac constellations, like Leo, Capricorn, Cancer, and all of them are associated with an element: earth, water, fire, and air. And space is the container for the other four elements. And one other particularity of Jyotish is that it will subdivide the sky in other sections, smaller sections, called nakshatras. The nakshatras are 27 stars or sections of the sky that the moon visits during its orbit around the Earth. So each of them has a very unique energy, and it will influence us on our physical and emotional state, particularly on the emotional state, as the moon represents the emotion. So each time the moon is changing, moving from one nakshatra to another, it creates a different emotional landscape for us. And we also all have a birth star. So, where was the moon in the sky? In which nakshatra was the moon in the sky at the time we were born? Is gonna determine, it's gonna give us some context on the energy and how it sets, the landscape for our emotional expression. And so, if you're interested in discovering this, I will put into the description. You will find my WhatsApp and my Instagram, so you can DM me there, and we can exchange about your birth star. And I'm also working at creating a free offering where everyone can discover the nakshatras more in depth with reflective questions as it goes along, as it moves from one to another throughout the cycle. So stay tuned on this if you're interested. And so yeah, I'm sharing a little bit of all of that because this is what I put together in my Yoga Nidra. I blend the elements of Ayurveda in the Yoga Nidras, and how, where is the moon in the sky, which nakshatra, what is the energy of that nakshatra, which constellation it is in, and so what is the element associated with that. And I blend all of that into the Yoga Nidra offering that I have for you today, to allow us to find balance and harmony. So for anyone who has not practiced Yoga Nidra before, I have a video that explains in more detail in YouTube, so I will put that into the description as well. But just to explain briefly, Yoga Nidra means yogic sleep. And it's a relaxation technique that is conscious, where your body is going to rest as if it was falling asleep, but your mind is going to stay awake. And all you need to do is lie down, close your eyes, and let yourself be guided. It's quite effortless, but it's incredibly powerful at the same time, because it allows us to heal and to discover ourselves more in a very deep way. And it's excellent for relaxation. It's a great relaxation technique. A lot of people use it for that. But it's not only relaxation, it's much deeper than this, because it reminds us that we have the profound inner power and ability to experience bliss. It's in our hands, not anywhere else. And it allows us to realize that we are limitless, that we can achieve anything by reprogramming ourselves. And the way that Yoga Nidra allows us to reprogram ourselves is using a sankalpa. Sankalpa in Sanskrit, that means a vow aligned to our highest truth. That's something really aligned to your heart. And it allows us to plant a seed of a dream into the subconscious mind. It's very easy. You'll be guided through that in the practice. So you don't really need to know more at that stage, but it's something that it's a sentence that you use at the present tense, and it's the end result that you want to achieve. So let's say that the seed of intention you want to plant, what really matters to you is healing. So you're gonna say, I'm healed, and not I'm healing. It's the end result, not the process. It has, as if it had happened already. And this is what you're gonna cultivate. The more you practice Yoga Nidra, each time you're going to use that sankalpa, it will allow it to grow, in the subconscious mind. So yeah, I would invite you to think of something now, start thinking about it, what really matters to you, to your heart, not to your ego. Yeah, it is supposed to make you a better person so that the world can become a better place. And then once you have it, keep it. And work with it for a little while until either it has realized or it doesn't feel aligned anymore with your heart. Right. So I'm going to explain a little bit about the structure of the class for today. So I'm going to go into the theme of this new moon. And then we're going to do a pranayama, a breathing exercise with the mudra. It's a hand gesture that will allow us to prepare for the Yoga Nidra practice. Then for all the members of Moscow IKEA, there will be Yoga Nidra practice. And at the end, we will be able to close with sharing in the private circle. So, this new moon is in the nakshatra called Magha. So I'm just going to come back to the fact that we are talking about the new moon here. So why the new moon? At the time of the new moon, the moon and the sun are in the sky together, and we cannot see the moon because the sun is so bright, we cannot see the moon anymore. And because she doesn't have a lot of light, she doesn't have a lot of energy, and she doesn't give us a lot of energy, which means we're a little bit more tired. It's a good time to rest and to meditate and to take care of ourselves. But at that moment, where the moon is at in the sky, at the time of the new moon, will set the energy for the entire moon cycle. And so the new moon was on Saturday for most people. And as the moon begins to brighten the next day and the next 2 to 3 days after the time of the new moon, the energy starts to increase. This is a time where we feel inspired, and where we want to set intentions for the cycle. So this is why we're practicing today Yoga Nidra together. Is that the energy of the new moon is there, has arrived, and now we're starting to pick up on the light that is starting to grow again, and we can set intentions for the entire moon cycle. So where the moon was Saturday was in the nakshatra called Magha. And Magha is in the constellation of Leo. And Leo is associated with the fire element. And the Leo constellation in Vedic astrology, it is represented as the sun, which is the light in the heaven, the fire in the heaven. And the sun gives light continually. That's one of its aspects. And Magha is also called the star of power. And it brings strength and mightiness and forgiveness, and it's associated with the ancestors and the traditions. The main symbol for Magha is a throne. So when you think about that, it really brings about the idea of the Sun King, and that power, that energy, that authenticity. It really allows us to stand into our power and to connect with the ancestors, the wisdom of the ancestors that came before us and how they can guide us on our path. So you have several nakshatras in the constellation of Leo, but Magha is probably one that represents very well the energy that we have in mind for Leo in general, because of the sun, because of that power that comes with it. So to prepare ourselves today, I wanted to share the pranayama called Ujjayi. So, it's just the breathing, Ujjayi. It means the victorious breath in terms of power, but it also brings a lot of heat. Not a lot, but it brings heat in the body. So that allows us to connect with the fire energy. And so for those of you on YouTube, you will be able to hear this, but you do a constriction at the pit of the throat when you inhale and exhale. And it sounds a little bit like the ocean or like Darth Vader. And you can put the tongue at the top of the mouth as well to help you with that. And so we're going to do 12 rounds of this. One round is one inhale, one exhale. And we're going to do that at our own rhythm. And to accompany that breathing, we're going to use a mudra called Surya Mudra. So Surya Mudra, you put the ring finger into the palm of the hand and you press the thumb on top of it. And then you extend as much as you can the other fingers and keep these two together as straight as you can. The tension will be in the hand. It will stop at the level of the wrist. And you're going to put your hand on the top of your lap. Again, you're going to cross your legs. If you cannot cross them completely, like being seated cross-legged, you can just cross at the level of the ankles with the right ankle on top of the left. And place the back of your hand on the top of your lap on each side. You're going to do that on both sides, right? And then we're going to do the breathing at the same time. And so Surya Mudra, Surya means sun. So it has a few benefits actually that goes with it. Obviously sun, that means that it activates the sun power in us, which is very good for Leo constellation. And it allows us to connect with the fire inside. And it will bring balance to the fire inside. It will awaken it, but not in a way that it's gonna burn it all inside. So it will enhance the function of the thyroid, and it will also reduce, it's gonna burn away what you don't need, like high cholesterol levels and excess weight. In that sense, it will burn it, but it will not, if you do it only 5 minutes a day, it will not imbalance you and burn you from inside. It also helps with anything that is related to indigestion, because it will increase the the agni, the fire inside that allows you to digest everything. But it also reduces anxiety. So that's a very good one to have in your kit of tools, to support you when you experience anything like that. Or anytime you need to connect with your inner sun and your inner fire. Right. So again, this is the mudra. You place the back of the hands on the top of your laps and you're relaxed, except, you keep tension in the hands and everything else is relaxed, the shoulders and everything. You're going to close your eyes and we're going to do 12 rounds of Ujjayi breath at your own rhythm. So you start with an exhale, regular. Now you start with the Ujjayi breathing. Once you're complete with your 12 rounds, you can breathe normally and release the mudras and observe your breath for a couple of minutes. And when you're ready, you can proceed to lie down on your bed or on your yoga mat. Make sure you have a blanket to keep you warm as the body temperature will drop. and we're gonna get started with Yoga Nidra.